All right, ready to dive into something kind of revolutionary.
Always up for a challenge. What do we have?
Co-creation, but like for real this time.
Okay, color me intrigued. What makes it so revolutionary?
Well, we've got this LinkedIn article by HR expert Tamer El-Tonsy.
Oh yeah, I've seen his stuff around. He knows his stuff.
It's called Co-Creation, a playbook for HR. And let me tell you, he makes a strong case for it being the key to unlocking a company's true potential, like really making it sing.
And I bet it's not just about brainstorming sessions and calling it a day.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And one of the things I found super interesting right off the bat, he dives into this case study.
Oh, case studies are always where the rubber meets the road, right? What's this one about?
Multinational Telecom company. Classic tale of shrinking employee engagement.
Yeah, sadly, I've seen that one too many times.
Right. But here's where it gets good. Instead of the usual top-down solutions, they went all in on empowering their employees.
Wow, that's a pretty radical shift. What happened?
Complete culture change, apparently.
Yeah.
Employee satisfaction scores went through the roof, and it wasn't just a temporary bump, it stuck.
That's impressive. It really makes you wonder why more companies aren't giving employees the reins, so to speak.
Exactly. So let's dig into what makes this co-creation thing tick. El-Tonsy lays out these guiding principles for success.
All right, lay it on me.
One that really jumped out at me was about putting the group's needs first.
Yeah, creating that shared vision is key, but does that mean silencing individual voices? Because that's how you stifle innovation.
Right, and he addresses that directly. It's not about ignoring individual ideas. It's about finding that sweet spot where the group's goals and individual insights work together, like in jazz.
Ooh, I like that analogy. Each musician has their unique flair, but it's the synergy, the way they play off each other, that creates something truly special.
Exactly. And to get that going, El-Tonsy stresses the need for everyone to be fully engaged.
Not just showing up, but actually contributing. That's a tough one.
Definitely a challenge, especially with so many teams being remote and juggling a million things at once.
Yeah, you need a high level of trust for people to feel safe speaking their minds.
Absolutely. And that's where this idea, iterative understanding and solutions comes in.
It's iterative, so it's an ongoing process.
Totally. It's about constantly refining, getting feedback, evolving those solutions through open conversations, like building a mosaic.
Each piece might seem small on its own, but put them together and you get a masterpiece. Love it. So how do we actually create this culture of co-creation then?
Well, luckily for us, El-Tonsy breaks it down.
He says, gotta start with clarity.
Yeah, totally.
You can't just toss around co-creation and think everyone's gonna, I don't know, magically get on board.
Right, like it's some buzzword.
Right. It needs clear communication. Like, what does it actually mean for this company? What are we hoping for? That kind of thing.
Setting the stage, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But hold on, there's more. Next up is connections, like between the team members themselves.
Oh, that makes sense, because who wants to pour their heart out in some stiff environment?
For real. This goes beyond the how was your weekend small talk.
Yeah, it's got to be genuine, otherwise the ideas won't flow.
You got it. That's when the good stuff happens.
But it's more than just being buddies, right? People need to feel like they can speak up.
Absolutely. You hit the nail on the head. Third step's all about that participation. And I'm talking real deal contributions, not just, oh, I'm here.
And feeling safe to disagree even.
All that. Challenging the norm. That's where the spark is.
Okay, so we've got clarity, connections, participation.
You're on a roll. Which brings us to, drum roll please, feedback loops.
Because it can't be a one and done thing, right?
Nope. This is where we get kind of messy, going back and forth, tweaking things. Most groundbreaking stuff, it doesn't just appear out of thin air.
Takes shaping, reshaping.
Yeah.
Like Rome wasn't built in a day.
There you go. Except here, we're building a whole new way of working together. But how do we make sure it sticks? How do we make co-creation more than a fad?
Now that is the million-dollar question. And luckily, our guy El-Tonsy has some thoughts. So spill the beans. How do we make this co-creation thing stick around? Like really embed it in a company?
Big question, right? Well, El-Tonsy, he talks about this shift from a me-focused culture to a we culture. So it's not that individual achievements don't matter.
Right. Got to celebrate those wins.
Totally. But it's the collective brain power, that diversity of thought that really pushes things forward.
Makes sense. Sometimes the best ideas come from bouncing things off each other, not just one lone wolf.
100%. And that means breaking down those walls, the silos.
Yeah, those can be tough to crack.
Tell me about it. Got to empower everyone to be a co-creator, not just the folks at the top.
Easier said than done, though, right? I mean, some companies, they're so used to the old ways, top down and all.
It's a process, for sure. El-Tonsy calls it a cultural transformation, and it starts at the tippy top.
Leaders got to walk the walk.
You got it. Embrace it themselves and create that space where it's okay to be a little vulnerable, to challenge the norm.
Psychological safety, right? That's huge.
Huge. When people feel safe, that's when the really creative stuff comes out.
Because those rough edges, those different ways of seeing things, that's often where the breakthroughs happen.
Exactly. And it's not just about being creative, it's about purpose, feeling like you matter.
Like you're a part of something bigger.
And that's the beauty of co-creation. It's not just how you work, it's a whole new mindset.
A total game changer. Well, this has been eye-opening, to say the least.
Right. Makes you think.
El-Tonsy's Playbook, it really paints a picture of the future of work. Big question is, are companies ready to embrace it?
Now that's something to ponder, isn't it?
For sure. And on that note, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into co-creation. Until next time, keep those creative juices flowing.